Lego just released a ton of new sets, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at some of the highlights. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, we've got the Haunted Mansion, retailing for $90 and as you can see, it's very much inspired by the Haunted Mansion or the Haunted House that came out, I believe, in the early 2010s as part of the Monster Fighters theme. I believe this set pays a homage to it with those sand green walls and that front gate, as well as the minifigures featuring a werewolf, a skeleton, a Frankenstein sort of monster, as well as what seems to be a glow-in-the-dark ghost making a return, as well as a sort of vampire lady. The windows are boarded up with 1x4 printed tiles, which is great to see, and there's a brick-built ghost in the window. Even though it's much smaller than the original set, I think it still retains some of its charm, and I think it'll still be a great set to get as a parts pack. Around the back of the build, we have some minimal interiors, and unfortunately there's not much of a floor, but what that does mean is that the sides can fold in to make it a more complete house, which I believe is a good thing. There's a brick-built piano and I believe a small Technic function in which the ghost in that window can move up and down. This is a Creator 3-in-1 build, meaning there are two other alternate builds you can make, including this quite cool looking train and this interesting shipwrecked pirate ship. What is a bit of a shame is that because of these alternate builds, they would have had to sacrifice on some of the pieces that they put in it. For example, I think in the original build, these corners could have been better done, but they have probably had to put these pieces in to make this curved train. Even so, it'll be a great build of $90 for 736 pieces, releasing August 1st. Moving on, we've got one of the highlights of the wave, the medieval Horse Knight Castle. Despite the awkward name, that's probably just designed to come up in search suggestions when you type any of those terms. It is $130 for 1,371 pieces, placing it at pretty good value. It's a Creator 3-in-1 castle, much like the one we saw a few years ago, featuring two new factions, that being the Snake Knights in the yellow and black, and the Horse Knights in the white and blue, reminding me of the Dragon Paladin Knights from the recent Dungeons & Dragons collectible minifigure line. I'm liking the dark blue roofs and light bluish grey walls, but I think some of the geometry looks a little basic and a little childish. But of course, that's kind of what you can expect from a Creator 3-in-1 build, and this will be useful to a lot of builders such as myself, simply as a parts and minifigure pack. I do like the daub and wattle architecture here, but I believe that's not created using plates or tiles put at an angle, and instead that is just the fairly recent 2x2 triangular tile stuck on the side of the building with snot bricks. When it comes to the minifigures, we can see we get a few of that new knight, which is great to see, as it'll be good for mock building and army building, and hopefully soon they will be available on the Pick-a-Brick store, so people can stock up on them. Around the back of the build, you see we have some basic interiors, a small throne and banquet room, as well as some stables and a bedroom for the king. The alternate builds include a jousting arena, very similar to the Lego Castle jousting arena that came out a while ago, and I believe was one of the sets they were wanting to bring back, and this is how they've chosen to do it. Even though it's a bit of a shame that the horse barding is brick built, as well as the horses, when I would have much preferred moulded horses and moulded horse barding like we saw in the Lego Icons 90th anniversary Lion Knights Castle. This will still be a great set to get though, and like the rest of the wave, on August 1st. Moving on, we have other creative 3-in-1 sets such as this toucan with a watermelon and flower. While I'm not a huge fan of this one, it's good for what it is and features some nice new coloured elements. I'm liking the coral, that dentist blue, and the different shades of orange, as well as the pale yellow you see in friend sets, and the teal of the claws, giving us some new parts in some new colours and expanding the range of what's available. That one for only $18. Moving on to the Marvel sets, we have the Spider-Man versus Oscorp set. I'm not familiar with the original source material, but as a small street, it looks pretty good, especially this jewelry shop on the side. But $140 for 800 pieces, it is very expensive. So I think only true fans of Marvel or Spider-Man will be getting this one, as it won't be much good as a parts pack at that price. They've also released a bunch of new cars, which will be good for populating Lego cities with fancy cars, like this Bugatti something or other hyper sports car. I'm not a huge fan of cars, and so I probably won't be getting any of these, but it's good to see that they're expanding the range of sets available for building up a Lego city for those who do appreciate it. Ninjago has had quite a few good sets this year, including the Temple Bounty. It seems like a modern rendition of the Destiny Bounty, which was their old flying ship that they had. I'm not familiar with the source material of Ninjago itself, but what I do know is that these minifigures look pretty good, but the main star of the show is the ship. You can see these scooper elements have been turned upside down to create those traditional Japanese roofs, as well as these nice, what looks like foil or plastic sails, and the overall detailing is very good. I like the brown and tan colour scheme with the red accents, and the gold and whatever this colour is a nice touch. For $200 for 2,387 pieces, it also comes in at pretty good value. I believe the floors can be separated to give access to the interior, and it seems like a great build for those involved in the Ninjago franchise. Moving on, we've got the yellow bulldozer for $65, part of their new range of city sets. I'm a big fan of this one, mainly to the simple but detailed colour scheme, but mostly of the way they've just constructed this thing. Look at that grill piece they've managed to put in there. I don't even know how or why they did it, but I think it's to give access to the engine so you can see it through there. And details like that are what makes Lego such a timeless classic that persists today. The subtle curve of the scooper is a nice touch, and the rubble they've added works very well too. 3 minifigures for $65, that's a great set. Other city sets include the central train station. We've seen a line of train stations and trains when they release one every 2 to 3 years, accompanied by a train set. As you'll see later in the video, they do have a train set that accompanies this. But as a train station, I think this set does a pretty good job. Most notably for me, we have 2 pigeons up there. I believe that is a new animal, and I think it's a great addition to the Lego animal range. As well as that, there is a small clock tower with what looks like a 3x3 printed clock, and some candlestick pieces in medium nougat, which is great to see. You have a small vehicle on a small stretch of train track, and while I think it's great they've got train track pieces, I'm not sure I'd be getting this set, simply because there's not enough parts to justify using it as a parts pack, although I do hope the pigeons will be available on Pick-a-Brick for ordering individually. Moving on to the other city sets, we have the Arctic Explorer Science Lab Truck. Even though it's got such a long-winded name, it's a pretty good set. While I'm not a fan of the dark blue and orange colour scheme, the wolves are the highlight of this set. They came originally in the CMF with the Wolfpack Beastmaster, and it's good to see them in more sets. We also have this wolf cub by the look of it, and a small cave. With 6 large wheels and a bunch of minifigures, it looks like a good set, and it's good to see that continuing the modern Explorers range, even if it's in blue and orange vehicles. Next, we've got a heavy-duty recovery truck with crane. It's basically just 2 trucks, one with an arm on the back. I'm not a huge fan of these new cones that they're using. I much prefer the old dish radar piece that they used on the bottom, but the trucks themselves look great, especially with modern details like these ingots that they never would have used in the older sets. The dark tan boulders are a nice addition too, and the minifigures are pretty good as city minifigures go. Next, we've got Iron Man and War Machine vs. Hammer Drones. The only reason I decided to highlight this set today, instead of like many of the recently released sets that I've skipped, is because of the colours, sand blue and sand green. It's good to see them making a comeback. The other reason is this minifigure. It stands out to me simply because it's detailed and it's in that metallic two-tone grey that I think works quite well. It's good to see sets like this at a relatively affordable price. When it comes to Ninjago, they've had quite a few good sets, including a lot of dragons. And the same goes for Minecraft. Not with the dragons, but with a lot of recent good sets, including the Pillager Outpost and Ravager, featuring this kind of outpost lookout tower thing, as well as a little grey man with an axe, a pig, and another little grey man riding on some sort of mutant bovine. For me, personally, it's too blocky and I don't understand why they didn't recolor these hinges into dark bluish grey, but maybe that's just my opinion, and maybe fans of LEGO Minecraft will appreciate this more. When it comes to Technic, LEGO's certainly changed a lot in recent years, and this set is a prime example. Just take a look at these tyres. These are some fairly new rubber pieces that you can put into the tyre tracks to give them more grip, making it seem like this is a remote control vehicle when I'm not sure if it actually is, but I highly doubt it. As far as lunar rovers go, it's certainly interesting looking, but I'm not sure if I see the appeal. 2 good things I do note about it though is these solar panel printed parts. I do like printed parts, as well as these translucent gem pieces, a bunch of little rock ball things, and the fairly rare red elastic, which is good to see. There have also been a bunch of new Animal Crossing sets, all with slightly haunting characters, and oh, is that a snail? It does appear that a new snail mold has been introduced for the set, which is great to see, even though I wasn't expecting it. And I do hope that the snail makes its way into other themes. I also like the use of this shell piece for the Triceratops, but I'm not really sure what a Triceratops skeleton is doing in a garden. I suppose I'll leave that to the Animal Crossing experts to tell me in the comments. Another set includes this very strange looking dog whose eyes make me think it has rabies, and another snail. I wonder why snails are such a motif in these sets. I do like the roof, but I'm not sure if a new 2x2 tile shape was needed, but I do think it works quite well. What I don't like though is that unsightly gap between them. I think they definitely could have done a better job. When it comes to Lego City Healthcare, Lego loves to make all things medical these days. And with a new Royal Flying Doctors Service kind of build, it's another addition. I'm not a huge fan of this one, mainly because of the unsightly colour scheme with teal and vomit green, but I do like this engine build. Engine aside, the rest of it's pretty average, with this large wing piece being seemingly unusable for anything else, and the minifigures looking fairly average. Moving on, Lego does have some pretty good police sets though in the city line, including the police boat chase. Unfortunately, while it does include one large boat piece so that kids can float the boats in water, it still looks pretty good, even though this piece will be unusable for anything else, and I would have much preferred to have a brick built hull. The sand green dinghy does look pretty good though, and that metallic chain is a nice touch, as well as the light bluish grey shark. I find the minifigures in these police sets keep getting better, with the new orange jumpsuits replacing the old white and black stripes. We've got two motors that are very well constructed on the boat, and one of those new pieces that they love to use in city sets whenever they can, that grated door piece. Next, we have the custom police car garage, and while I'm not sure how custom it is, it's certainly a pretty cool set. Seems like you can hinge it together either to make a room or to modify or customize perhaps the layout of the garage, but it's good to see that they have sets like this that I wouldn't have expected to see. An interesting part is the wheels of this car though, which seem like they have studs on the sides for you to add round plates to, or tiles. There's also been a bunch of new Sonic sets, none of which I understand, like what is this caterpillar thing and why is it pink? But I do appreciate that they are expanding to a bunch of different themes to capture different interests. We have a set called Beautiful Horse, which they probably could have just called Horse, and it's a creator 3-in-1 set with 3 animals, much like the tiger we saw last year. The Dreams theme has given us another nightmare shark vehicle, this one being a submarine. To me it looks pretty much the same as the old one, just with the wings taken off and some fins added. And by the old one I mean the Nightmare Shark airship, or whatever they called it. However, I am a big fan of this set, called Mateo's Spray Paint Truck. Although the name does seem to incite rebellious youths into graffitiing their surroundings, the colour scheme I think worked quite well, and the design of this cockpit looks like more of a mock than a Lego set, which I'm a big fan of. The green rubber in the wheels must certainly have been expensive to produce, but I think it works well here. And elements like a translucent hood and cape go a long way in adding to the Lego parts lineup. Lego Friends has a constant array of new sets, and this one is just one of many. Another thing about the new Dream sets is these brain pieces they keep including. I think they're pretty good, and I'm glad that Dreams has introduced a lot of new pieces into the Lego parts collection. In with sets like this chameleon. Helmets like these might be able to be used in some sort of Roman gladiator mock if they recolored them, and perhaps this one here as well, which is the same mold but in different colors. When it comes to the chameleon itself, I was about to say I like the printed pieces, but now I realize they might be stickers, in which case I definitely do not like them. Either way, it's an innovative set, and I hope they keep changing up what they do. Another LEGO Friends set is this one featuring a beach and cabin, and here's another one. LEGO has recently been expanding their art collection, and that includes this 2D tiger, which I'm assuming you're going to build and stick up on a wall somewhere. Well, I'd never stick up a LEGO build on a wall, because I'd much rather take it apart and build something better out of it. I do appreciate all the new parts and tiles, and especially curved corner slopes that are included in sets like these. When it comes to Jurassic Park, I'm a big fan of stuff that's not Jurassic Park, like the rocks, the waterfall with that unsightly stickered piece, and the South American temple vibes. The dinosaurs itself, I'm not a big fan of, but for this price tag, you have to be a big fan of whatever's in the set to be getting 984 pieces for $160. Here's another set featuring a small vehicle and 2 small dinosaurs, as well as an orange pistol, which is good to see a recolor, even if it's probably not going to be particularly useful. Another new Technic set is this digger, much like the city digger we saw earlier, but with wheels instead of caterpillar tracks. LEGO Star Wars releases a battle pack every now and then, and this is the latest one. I do like this gun here, which looks like it's a new mold, but it may not be, and the helmets and minifigures are well printed. The whole purpose of these battle packs is to get multiple of them and army build, and I'm not sure how well this one is suited to army building with this small boxy spaceship, because I feel like having multiple of them isn't any better than having one, but perhaps the parts can be used for other things. Other Jurassic Park sets include this one, and Harry Potter has also given us a plethora of good new sets. The Chomping Monster Book of Monsters is debatably one of these good sets, with a lot of new brown pieces like these printed elements, which may actually be stickers, and although I'm not really sure what's going on here, if that's the monster's tongue or not, it certainly looks like an interesting set. And I'm sure on the inside there is some mechanism which makes it jump up and down by the look of it as you roll it. Continuing the Harry Potter sets, we have another Privet Drive set, this one with the barred window, and most notably the inflated minifigure, which Harry casts a spell on in the movies. I'm not sure if this is a new piece or not, but as we can see, those separate arm pieces will be clicked in via Technic pin connections, creating a rather rotund figure. And while I'm not a fan of the head, I think a normal minifigure head could have worked better. I am a fan of the general look of this figure and the set. Sets like this I can't explain and I can't try to, but I do like that crown. And I hope they'll bring parts like that crown into other sets. Here's another set which I have no clue what's going on. and I also don't know why anyone would get it, seeing as it seems like a small, simplistic city set with a bunch of strange characters doing strange things. Another Harry Potter set includes the herbology class, featuring some new plants, what looks like a skirt piece for that flower, and a nice recolor of the smoke piece, the new smoke piece, I should add, in sand green for a unique plant. Although expensive, it is a good set, and these buckets look like they'll be useful in a lot of new scenarios. The Italy postcard is also being released, and it looks rather good, featuring 2 printed tiles for the Italian name of Italy, which is Italia, and the English name Italy. Another Harry Potter set includes Fawkes, which is Dumbledore's Phoenix, and the Sword of Gryffindor. I think this one will display along nicely with the Hedwig set of a similar scale that they released a while ago. When it comes to space, LEGO has released a lot of new sets recently, including this shuttle carrier aircraft. To me, it seems like a big plane with a small plane on top, but it does certainly look like it would display well on a shelf, especially for fans of space or aviation. Another art piece that has been added to their collection is these dancing figures, and while they look rather good, I'm not sure if the parts in them would make them a good parts pack, but I suppose they're intended to be built and displayed, and that's what the majority of people will do with them. I'm guessing it's based on a famous artwork, but I'm not sure of which one exactly, so I'll leave it to you guys in the comments section to let me know. When it comes to the Disney, LEGO loves making Disney sets, and so I'm not surprised they have a Pixar lamp as a little display model. There's also been a lot of Star Wars sets, including these larger brick-built figures like this robot thing on what looks like a flying Segway, as well as this starship thing with the Ultimate Collector plaque, as well as this interesting looking ship that I thought I'd highlight. Please note that not all recent sets have been included in this video, only the ones that I thought were worth taking a look at, like this Dalmatian here from the movie 101 Dalmatians. I like the sausages for the eyes and the construction of those eyes below the sausage eyebrows. The shaping's quite good, and I reckon fans of 101 Dalmatians will like this build. Another Spider-Man set includes this tram. Well, I'm not sure about the Spider-Man himself, but the tram looks pretty good, and I can imagine people buying a few of these to make a larger tram that they can put in their LEGO cities. This thing I don't even know where to begin, and so we can move on to the Booknooks. LEGO seems to have released a few Booknooks recently, probably inspired by the submissions on LEGO Ideas, including this Hogwarts Express one, with 2 minifigures and a micro-scale Hogwarts Express. And while it looks good from afar, once you put it in your shelf, I don't think it'll be particularly visible amongst books, seeing as the Hogwarts Express is so small. However, I think they're trying to keep it affordable and a good size compared to the books at that scale. I like how the train appears to run through the books in a sort of tunnel. Another large Technic set was released, as well as the large display set for Minecraft. We've got this large Hogwarts tower, basically like an Ultimate Collector Hogwarts set, I'm guessing, but it doesn't have anything particularly interesting. We have more Spider-Man sets, including Peter Parker's apartment, and some new Ninjago sets, including this very large dragon with some very nice box art. In my opinion, the box is the highlight of the set, which probably sounds like a bad thing until you realize that while the set's great, the box is even better. We have more Diagon Alley sets and some more Harry Potter Thestral sets. This is the train I was talking about earlier. Apparently it includes a winter Johnny Thunder. There he is. And this train should be remote controlled with this remote running around this track and passing through a mountain. While the track is slightly shorter than the other trains we've got in previous years, like the cargo train, I think the mountain, zipline and minifigures make up for it, and this is certainly a set on my radar. When it comes to Batman, LEGO has recently been going all out with a large art Gotham City set. And here, this Batman Forever Batmobile is a modern take on what LEGO Batman can be. And while it looks very classy, I'm not really sure if it's quite accurate to the original. Another Booknook that LEGO's released includes this Sherlock Holmes Booknook with these excellent minifigures and some nice buildings, even if they have limited interiors. This Booknook is meant to be placed inside the books, with books on either side, and creating a corridor into your bookshelf, as opposed to the other Harry Potter Booknook. However, this one looks quite good, and I like that cobbled path with the street facades on either side. Another Ninjago mech, similar to that other dragon, is this red one, with some very nice cloth pieces and shaping. One of the highlights of the recent releases for me is this Japanese red maple bonsai tree at only $60, but with some excellent newly recolored palm leaf pieces and a well-structured bonsai core. Sets like Mecha Team Leader are certainly interesting and new, but I'm not really sure what the point is or what these pieces are even used in the hip joints. I suppose it's to do with LEGO Fortnite, but I'm not sure if that's a character from the game or if at this point they're just putting together Fortnite sets for the sake of it. Happy Plants is a cute new set, and the Brick Built Star Wars logo seems like something only real fans of Star Wars would get, seeing as a yellow and black parts pack is probably not what most people need. Another Brick Built Star Wars figure includes this rather creepy droid thing with a minifigure version and a plaque. And we have the River Steamboat, released quite a while ago now as part of the LEGO Ideas line, as well as the Shire, Lord of the Rings, and the Beauty and the Beast castle, with a lot of that lavender and white mixed in with dark red and tan. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below on which sets do you think are your favourite. If you want me to take a look at any of the other sets I've mentioned in a future video, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.